Hi guys, welcome to my November wrap up December to be read video. 7 days late, but you know, life gets in the way, and I'm actually filming this at 9:30, so I'm sorry if the lighting's a bit weird, but I literally didn't have it. I haven't had any time, and if I keep putting it off it will be like the 15th of December. So, and I really wanted to get this video up because I did promise that I promised myself that I would do more videos, so here we are. And I do apologise if there are any breaks and pauses and me staring off into the distance thinking what to say. I've actually got repetitive strain on my wrist at the moment, so I can't use it too much. So I can't edit because it just puts too much strain on my wrist. So when my wrist is all better, I am actually going to be doing more professional looking videos because I do like editing and I want to do like star ratings or like my ratings and put pictures up and have better stuff on my videos. So if you just bear with me, and I'm sorry if I cough and say a lot, but anyway, let's get into the video. So November was actually shaping up to be quite an unproductive month to do with the reading, but because I then got diagnosed with repetitive strain in my wrist and I couldn't actually do any uni work because I'm not allowed to type that much, I actually ended up reading 5 books towards the end of November. Some of them did bleed into the first couple of days of December. I think I finished reading the last book on the 3rd of December, but I've basically read 5 books in the last 2 weeks of November. So let's get into it. The first book I finished was Shakespeares Local by Pete Brown. This book I bought purely because of the title, and I was really surprised. So if you're not like into pubs and you're not into beer, I still recommend this because it's still a really interesting non-fiction history, not of just the George Inn pub, which is what it's based around, but also the area of London which is in Southwark. And it was just so interesting, and that it has links to Charles Dickens and Shakespeare and Chaucer, and more Dickens because it is seen as a Dickensian pub, the George Inn, but literally I recommend this to anyone. I mean, I'm obviously not the author's demographic and I absolutely loved it, so definitely recommend this one to everyone. The next one I read was The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. Now, I think I mentioned in one of my earlier videos that I read Looking for Alaska, and I wasn't hugely enamoured by it. I didn't see what all the hype was around John Green. I didn't understand why everyone was saying that the book was amazing, but I read this in 4 hours. Oh my god, Augustus Waters, I don't know, at first I did find him really cocky and I was like, really? Would people really be like this? But I loved it, and seriously, Jess, you know, I tweeted you straight away when I finished this, and how he manages to make it seem so real. Like, he has Augustus Waters and they scream things like the feels, how am I meant, and it's like how we actually talk, and he just portrays that and the relationship they have, and then when everything just seems to be going wrong but they're still in love, and I don't want to give anything away, even though everyone in the whole entire world apart from me had read this book up until the time I'd read it, but I feel like this isn't going to be a coherent video either. I'm tired, I apologise, but seriously, this book, it was amazing. I couldn't stop reading. I cried, I laughed. I cried a lot more than I laughed. I recommend, if you aren't sure about John Green's writing, read this because it will change it. I'm not sure if I read any more, like I want to get some of his like Abundance of Catherines and Paper Towns. I don't know if those books are going to live up to this, but I can quite easily say that this is one of my favourite books. The next one I read was The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This book has easily jumped into my top 10 favourite. It started off a bit slow because it's very wordy, but I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the circus and the storyline, and not just the romance but the dark undertones of being forced into this game, and just the circus. I can't even tell you how I pictured it in my head, and I'm really scared that they're going to do a movie adaptation of this, and I think they are planning to, and the fact that I just don't think they're going to be able to portray the Night Circus, they're not going to be able to do it justice to how the author writes this. I would never be able to write a book like this. The imagination this author has is astounding, seriously. And then how it all ties in at the end when there are certain parts of the book that are in second person, and it's like as if you're in as if you're in the circus, and how that all ties in at the end, and just all the magic and the wonder. And this book literally is it's got into my top 10. It might even have got into my top 5 if we don't count the Harry Potter books. But seriously, I recommend this so much. I think I may say that about all the videos in this video, all the books in this video. See what I mean about not editing? I apologise. The next book that I read was City of Lost Souls by Cassandra Clare. This book all but ripped me apart while I was reading it. I am absolutely in love with this series. I think this is the first supernatural paranormal YA series that I've read, and I'm so glad I started with this, because I cannot believe I have to wait till 2014 for the next book, because there's about 3 cliffhangers at the end of this. Although I am getting the Infernal Devices books for Christmas, I think. I've asked my boyfriend for them anyway. Jace in this, oh my god, I was like, what's going to happen? And then Sebastian, and you don't know whether it's good or it's bad, and Clary just being so brave, and the Clave, they're all conspiring against the Clave, and Magnus and, no, I was going to say Will, Magnus and Alec, and oh. If you haven't read The Mortal Instruments, I'm looking at you, Harry. If you haven't read them, you seriously need to, because you are missing out on something. The world building, the relationships, and Simon and Izzy and everything. I love this series. It cemented my love for YA fiction, actually. I think I'm going to read a lot more YA fiction because of this. So yes, I read that as well. And then the last book that I read was Divergent by Veronica Roth. And I also read this in 2 days. And this has also cemented my love for YA fiction and probably the dystopian fiction. The only thing I did find is that it's very similar to The Hunger Games for me. I think probably every dystopian novel would be, but the romance and the kind of the government thing, it is very similar. Not that that took away, I did notice that. Tobias, for however you want to call him, I love him. Their relationship, I actually like their relationship more than I do Jace and Clary. I like Tobias better than Jace, I think. But then again, I don't think we're meant to like Jace that much. But I can't wait to read the next one in this, and I definitely recommend that if you liked The Hunger Games, then you read the Divergent series, even though I haven't read Insurgent yet, so it might not be that good. But yeah, I loved it. I think they're making this into a film as well, and the problem I have with dystopian novels, I haven't actually watched the Hunger Games film yet, is because I don't know how they portray violence, and I don't deal well with watching violence. I can't read really, really, really gory descriptions of violence either, so I know there's quite a gory bit to do with one of a character being stabbed in this, and it's not that gory, but it did make me feel a little bit ill. This is why I've never read anything like American Psycho, and when we are given extracts about stuff like that in English, I just sit there and be like, sorry, I'll have nightmares. So depending on what happens in Insurgent and all the shooting and stuff, I don't know if I'm a bit dubious. That's why I haven't watched the Hunger Games movie, because I don't know how they've handled the violence in that. But definitely recommend reading this book. This is a really long video. So I haven't really got a to be read list for December, because these books were actually like the majority of my haul that I did. I've like powered through them. I am currently reading Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell. I think because I've been reading a lot of YA that this might take me a while to get through, because the text is, look at the text, there's my bookmark, tiny text, and it's got amazing reviews, but because I've been reading a lot of YA, I don't know whether I'm going to struggle, because I kind of feel I'm in a YA bubble at the minute and I want to stay there. But I don't have any more YA on my bookshelf. I have It's Kind of a Funny Story, but I'm not really in the mood to read about depression over Christmas. So it's just not, I don't know, I'm not really in the mood to read that book. So I'm hoping Cloud Atlas is going to live up to its expectations. I only need to read 2 more books to fulfill my 30 books in the year challenge for the Goodreads challenge. So this is about 500 and something pages long. So hopefully I'll read this and then read another book by the end of the year, which is so scary. It's nearly the end of 2012. So this video is getting over 10 minutes long now. I apologise that I can't edit. I would try and edit, but then the video would never get put up because my wrist would just start hurting. So in a couple of weeks when I do my videos, or in the new year when I do my videos, they will be a bit more polished. I can have custom thumbnails, so I will be doing those as well. So I appreciate your patience with all these and the staring into space if I've done any of that. So that was my November wrap up December to be read, even though I haven't really got a to be read list for December, because also I don't know what I'm getting for Christmas. I haven't asked for a lot of books, but people do tend to just buy me books. So I shall see you next time. Bye.